I could use your help. Late last week, we learned that Portland City Council was considering an amendment to the budget to eliminate general fund dollars from the Prosper Portland budget. Please, if you would, take a few moments to co-sign a letter to Portland Mayor Keith Wilson and Portland City Council asking them to vote no on this amendment to the budget and to reconsider ways that we can find the money we need for the city without adversely impacting entrepreneurs, startup founders, and the small businesses that are the lifeblood of this city. Having this budget eliminated would have substantial detrimental effect to the startup community in Portland, as well as the small business community in Portland. Basically, anyone working on anything entrepreneurial in Portland would be affected by this change. If you're not familiar with Prosper Portland, it's the economic development agency for Portland and one of the biggest supporters of startup activity, entrepreneurial activity, and home of the new Portland Office of Small Business. In full transparency, I think it's important to let you know that two organizations I helped start, Pi and Built Oregon, both have received funding from Prosper Portland. Pi no longer receives funding from Prosper Portland, but Built Oregon does. So this issue is near and dear to my heart. I've had the opportunity to work with Prosper Portland for nearly a decade. It hasn't always been perfect, but we've both worked toward finding common ground, collaboration, and delivering programs and services that support the Portland startup community. They are a critical part of the effort here for not only startups, but every entrepreneurial pursuit in our city. I have a tendency to keep politics out of the content I create. I do work behind the scenes with elected officials, with other organizations to help move the agenda forward for startups and entrepreneurs, but I try not to subject you to that. Especially as a founder, you have more than enough to juggle, and I want to make sure that you are always using your time in the best way possible. I wouldn't be asking you to do this if it wasn't so important. And it's not just the people who are building something right now. It's not just those of you who are pursuing a startup at the moment or opening a small business. It's really the knock-on effect of what happens with Prosper Portland's support of these efforts. It inspires other people to try things. It inspires other organizations to support entrepreneurs, even if they don't receive funding or support directly from Prosper Portland. Prosper's effort has an impact across our community. I'd also like to take a few minutes to share thoughts from a couple of other community members and organizers. Stephen Green of Better Portland and Pitch Black, who used to work at Prosper Portland, and Juan Barraza of Latino Founders.
Hey everybody, Stephen Green, Executive Director of Better Portland, entrepreneur here in town. A lot of you have been reaching out for my take on City Council's proposed amendment to defunding Prosper. Comes up for vote this week. I don't think it's a great move. The business community asks so little of the city, and there's countless examples of what's been done wrong over the years. And from my perspective, working with hundreds of entrepreneurs around the city, and our members, and running my own businesses myself, this is the first time that I can remember in my career being excited to work with the city. Prosper has been doing a lot of things in community over the last few years that give me a lot of hope. Myself, other folks, I've been on an advisory committee for the new economic development strategy, Advance Portland. One of the best things to come out of that was the new Office of Small Business that got rolling late last year, and really is getting into, kind of finding its groove now. And if this amendment goes through, all that goes away, along with funding for organizations like MISO, Hacienda, Accelerate, Apano, NEA, that have, amazing track records of serving underserved communities, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and neighborhood businesses. In this new form of government, I love that we have district representation. I love that folks finally have a voice in other parts of the city. That hasn't always been the case, especially for our small businesses east of 82nd. But this would cut off the funding that's helping those organizations reach those businesses. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I hope council is able to get together and work with Prosper leadership to come up with a solution that doesn't mean throwing in the towel on our small businesses. And so if you have time this week, plug in. There's going to be more coming from us and other partners Monday as we lead up to the council vote. But great thing to do right now. Check in with your counselors, see where they stand on this issue, and see what can be done. It's a really crucial time for small businesses and for nonprofits that are really doing the work in our community. And we're just at the point in time right now where we've got a great partnership with Prosper. We don't want to see that lose steam. So enjoy your weekend, reach out to your counselors, and more to come shortly. Thanks, everybody.
During the last couple of days, I spent time with entrepreneurs, individuals that lead entrepreneur support organizations, and we all come in agreement with something. To support both existing and new businesses, we need a strong and well-funded economic development agency. In our case, that's Prosper Portland. Portland is a turning point. City Council is considering a budget amendment that will cut $11 million from Prosper Portland funding. This money funds everything from small business grants, workforce training, films and events, industry retention, and support for minority and women-owned businesses. But instead of relying on anecdotal information, let's look at the data and examine the potential impact to our economy if this amendment passes. Portland is home for over 20,000 businesses, and 95% of them are small. These businesses create 35% of the local jobs and generate over $467 million in annual tax revenues that funds public services that we rely on. With a Prosper Portland support, these businesses will struggle, especially those owned by women, Latinos, and Black entrepreneurs, and other historical underserved communities. But here is what happened if the amendment passes. 2 years from now, we'll have fewer startups and shorter storefronts. 5 years from now, we have a slower job growth. And 10 years from now, we have a weaker economy and lower tax revenue that hurt everybody. This amendment doesn't just slash funding, it reverses years of work to build an inclusive economy. We understand budget trade-offs, but current economic development now means that Portland loses in the future. Our ask to Portland City Council is to keep investing in Portland small businesses and inclusive growth. The return investment on keeping Prosper Portland well-funded exceeds any potential sacrifices in other areas of the budget. Looking forward to see your vote on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to these views and this information. If you have the wherewithal and desire, I encourage you to join us in signing this letter to Portland Mayor Keith Wilson and the City Council on behalf of every entrepreneur in Portland. Thank you.